Hello, YouTube people. Yeah, you haven't seen me with glasses. I have severe astigmatism, so I have to wear glasses. The video you're about to watch is from January 2012. That's when I last worked on the Brakiri cruiser. Yeah, I didn't realize it'd been 2 years since I picked that thing up. Some of it's from 2012. Some of it's from 2014, about August, September. I haven't been working on it really hard until about 2 weeks ago. And it gets its primer this weekend, weather permitting. We've got a severe storm coming tonight. We're going to actually have snow. That's freaky here in this part of the country. Everything's going to shut down tomorrow. Even if it's only like a light scattering of snow and you can just barely tell it's coming down, everything shuts down. Everyone's just scared to death of this stuff. You know, it's like poison from the air. Anyhow, yeah, I just want to let you guys know you're watching some very old videos, and some of it is new. You'll be able to tell the new ones from the old ones very well because I filmed some of them during the Saturday afternoon model club. So there's voices in the background and stuff. You'll be able to tell when transition occurs. It's almost done though. I've got the base pretty much done. I've got one spot to sand smooth and it gets primered. The guns are on her. Everything's done. It took a long journey and I learned an awful lot about working with resin with this thing because it's not a very nice model. Anyhow, I'm going to get off here because the wife says I ramble too much. I'm about to. I'll come back when the model's done and talk about it and what my conclusions are because this guy's kind of old. See you in a bit. Alright everybody, I've got the seams for the wings done for the most part. I just found a spot I need to do a little bit of light sanding on over here. But it is light sanding. And I see some spots I need to take care of inside there. But for the most part, this is done. So I'm turning myself to these parts that go across here. As you can see, way too long. And I do mean way too long. Let's get some more light on the subject, shall we? This desk lamp, it isn't the best in the world. Okay, these pieces are way too long. They have an obscene amount of flash on them. So I got to cut them down to size and I got to get all the flash off of them. And then they bridge across here like this. Or they bridge across here like this. I don't know. I have to look at the directions. And I will look at them before I go cutting any of these parts. But again, it's a pretty heavy duty piece of flash right there that's got to come off. So I'm going to get out the knife and start trimming and getting going on it. Once that's trimmed up into size, I can glue them in. Then I don't have the main guns left, and since I'm making those out of brass rods, those will be easy. I just got to get these parts done. I'll be back when that's done. Well, I brought the camera to the ship instead of the ship to the camera. As you can see, I got those parts cut and fit. They seem to be running pretty parallel. They're not glued in yet. They're just pressure fit in there. I'm going to get them pressure fit in there. And just so you guys can see what the ship's going to look like there, we'll back out a little bit so you can see it. Say hello to Mr. Tick over there. Or Marvin the Martian behind it. But you can see, get an idea what she's going to look like. I don't think I have them 100% properly fit yet. But they're pretty close. They're just sitting in there. They're free to turn. Get arranged properly. I will finalize any fit problems when I get the epoxy out. I'm epoxying those, not super gluing them. Alright, just thought I'd let you guys give it a look. I can already see that one, they're not sitting in there exactly the same. This will be fun to fix. Back later. Hello everyone. I decided to do something before I glued those two parts on. I'm glad I did. I wanted to check my seam work. So I got out the silver paint. You can see the reflective shininess of it. It allows me to see my seams real easily. All I have to do is look at the light reflections and see how smooth things are. Some of it you also have to remember is my brush strokes. I can feel a little waver in this seam. and I can see it in the reflected light in the camera, but I can't see it in my own light. Isn't that weird? Okay, now I can see it here. Alright, now looking at this seam, it looks like it's fairly cleaned up. Not 100% positive on it, but it looks like it's fairly cleaned up. A little hard to move the thing around because of the desk, but it's looking pretty clean to me. Never mind that. Now let's look at the underside. That one looks like there's a bad spot right there. And there is. I know I'm going to have to fix that spot right there. And I need to get these things fixed before I put those other parts on, because those other parts are pretty fragile. And I thought I had most of this fixed. So you see why I'm doing this with the silver paint. This one's good. So I got one good seam, one that needs a teeny bit of work. This guy. And you can see it where it needs work in the camera pretty well. It needs a little bit of work right there. I can probably do that just with sanding though, because it feels like there's a little rough spot there. The top, I can see it now, what I need to do. I need to sand that really hard right there. Try to smooth it out. Same thing right there, there's a raised spot right there. At least the raised spots I'm trying to remove. And on this one, I'm thinking most of that is brush, with the paintbrush. One thing you can do with this is you can take your sandpaper, and this is one of the good things with the silver paint, is I can take my sandpaper and just lightly run over it with the sandpaper. Anything that goes away first is a raised spot. Anything that goes away last is a low valley spot. Okay? Two things show up right away. I don't know if you could, yeah, you can see them. There's a spot right there and a spot right there. They're definitely raised above the surface, because they show up under light sanding. Whereas pretty much the rest of this is just being removed uniformly. So I can see I got a couple of bad spots right there. Applying this to this side over here. But don't worry, some of you don't like this method. I'm going to remove all the silver paint before I even put a primer coat on here. And you can see, I can see it anyhow, right here there's a raised spot, and right there there's a raised spot. Okay? So if I continue with this, I can tell where I have done a good job with my seam filling. And again, this thing isn't like any other model I've ever built. The seams on it are huge. Then again, you guys get the idea, so there's no point in continuing along with this. Just waste footage and waste people's time viewing the videos. I'll be back once I get all these things fixed and can glue on those other parts. I don't think I got much to fix. It's just going to take a little bit. Alright. Hello everyone. I'm about to explain why I have multiple projects running at any given time. It's because sometimes processes overlap. I got a lot of stuff scattered in front of me right now. Vertical stabilizers on A-wing. They're getting sanded tonight. In fact, tonight's a sanding night. I have Deslocks. And I have the Brakiri sitting here. Okay? They're all getting sanded tonight. So I'm just going to have a sanding night. Sit down and do some sanding and some seam work. Now, I'm going to break this up into individual model videos in a second. I'm going to leave this video in with Deslocks. So let's talk about Deslocks. Okay? This is like round 3 of primering. Yeah. I'm getting good at doing that primer coat there. I have fixed most of my issues with Deslocks. There's only like 2 left. And I had hands 3 and 4 check it over. I found there's 3 left, but that's most of what's left is just light sanding to touch it up, where I had overruns with the primer. I was at the end of the can of primer, and well, most of you know how that can work. I just found a 4th spot. So let's get a zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. One spot's right there. It's barely right there, barely visible, but it needs work. One spot's right here. We're out of lighting. Let me move my lighting. There we go. A little bit better. One spot's right here. That's just a light sand up touch up. Okay. The stand. That's amazing, because I did that stand, and I sanded, and I did everything before I stuck it to the ship. Even did the silver paint thing, and I keep coming across spots on the stand. There's a spot right in here that needs to be fixed. There's a spot right above where the stand attaches. It needs sanding. You can see it in the video. I know you can. And there's one spot where there's an overrun on the paint somewhere. And I'm going to have to do some looking for it. But it just needs a little bit light sanding to touch up. Ah, there's a spot right there. I'm off camera. Right there. There's a teeny spot right there where I got a little too much paint on her. That's pretty much it. I just got a little bit of light sanding to do. No more real seam filling. And I can give her her first color coat. I'm getting excited about that. I mean, this project's been going for months now. And I'm just glancing over her real quick, looking for any place that's bad. Most of the bad spots I've taken care of now. It still looks a little bad right there, I know, I can tell. And that's the one spot that's going to take the most sanding to fix, I think. Some of these spots I left on purpose, like right there. I left that way on purpose. I can see a few spots where the primer didn't quite cover everything. But there you go. I'm going to set that one aside. I'm going to fix those spots this evening and get back to work on her. Get her primered up. One last shot. I may not even primer that one last shot, because most of that's just light sanding to fix paint overruns. This is just one spot that's not. So yeah, I can do a light mist of a primer. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, let's talk Brakiri. I've worked this seam 3 or 4 times right here, and it's still not 100% right. I can feel it. The hands 3 and 4 came at me and said, nope, 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 nope. You got to fix that. The ones down at the bottom are fine. These down here on either side are fine. You saw in the last video I had these set up and ready to go. I haven't glued them on yet because I need to fix these 2 seams. These parts are a little fragile, and I don't want to glue them on until I've got all the rough handling spots done. It won't take very long for me to get there. I checked the seams inside there too. I actually got those worked out. There's one rough spot inside there, and I'm going to leave it because I don't think I have the skills to fix it easily. Or I just am getting tired of dealing with this thing because it's been a long, slow process. This has not been a good model. It's going to look good when it's done, but it's not a good model. Alright, just a quick update where I'm at and why I haven't attached things. Back in a bit. This guy. I've been working this seam up here for an hour on both sides with some really high grit sandpaper. I almost got it done. I mean, really, really close. I can feel just a few slight imperfections in it, and it's mainly right along where the 2 parts join. Now, if you remember an earlier video, I really put the aves on there thick. Now, let me show you why I did that. What I did is I removed material until the 2 parts meet. And by putting the aves on there that thick, it allowed me to get it, well, pretty much smoothed out without much of a seam. And I can get away with that on this because there's no raised panel lines, there's hardly anything. There is a chip in it in 1 or 2 spots. And there's a bad one right there. And there's one here on the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that with some Mr. Surfacer. So I'm going to put a coat of Mr. Surfacer around the outside of this, give it one more sanding down, and then I can finally attach the 2 parts that go on here. Now, one thing about this, I didn't just hit this with my typical 600, 1200 grit sandpaper. I hit it with 300 grit wet sandpaper and a steel file. Simply because it was stubborn. It didn't want to go. This thing's been sitting for a month without being touched. And I told it it couldn't be stubborn, so I hit it with the hard stuff. Yeah, but it worked. I knocked that material down just exactly the way I wanted it. So now, some Mr. Surfacer, a light sanding along there just to verify, and I should be ready to get these two parts on. I'm going to silver paint it one more time just to make sure, because there's a couple of spots I think I can see here now that she's 100% dry that just need a little bit of touching up to get finally smooth. Anyhow, I'll be back once I've put the Mr. Surfacer on and shaved her off, sanded her down, and then silver painted. I'm not going to show you guys any of that. That gets boring. I've seen it too many times on this model already. So I'll be back when I get there. Bye. So we're leaving Mommy behind because she has to work?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not going to pick up Mom at all?
No.
No? We're just going to leave her there?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Just wanted to check. Okay if I show this video to your mommy later? Alright, I'll show it to Mom later.
Higher! And higher!
Are you having fun?
Yes!
Yes? Is this happiness for BB?
Hi!
Yes?
Stop! Wait! I like this swing!
You like the swings?
Yes!
Tell us why. Why do you like the swings?
I'm not gonna tell you!
Why not? Is it a secret?
Yes!
Yes?
Yes!
Why?
John, look at me!
I see. Why is it a secret? Should I come push you?
Yes!
Yes? Alright, I'll come push you. You'll go higher.
No, John!
No?
I want to go higher!
Okay, I'm coming to push. Here we go. Happy dance BB style. Woohoo! That is one heck of a dance, girl. You get it. You get it.